Hi Virgos, and welcome to your September 2020 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky here to talk to you about the energies coming in for your sign this month. Welcome back, Virgos. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful time of your season. I'm really happy to be here and seeing what is coming up for you this month. I think that the energy feels wonderful. I've been meditating on your energy, and I don't really feel any big problems here for you guys. I don't feel anything too worrisome. I think that there are going to be a lot of times this month where you have a sort of refreshing zest about what you want to do with the future, about how you're moving through this time. And I think that as you are resting, as you're contemplating, as you are seeing through some of the illusions of this time and some of the habitual actions that might not have served you too well, I think that you're coming out of this time a drastically changed person to some degree. You know, I talked in the general September video, if you haven't seen that yet, I will link it below, about how we kind of leave this month of September differently than we came into it. There's definitely something that just kind of comes into place. It feels like we're really learning how to represent ourselves and represent the values that we stand for in a new and emboldened way. And I think that you are at the front line of that because your energy is so needed right now. We're coming into this month with Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto retrograde in Capricorn, and we are leaving it with only Pluto still being retrograde, and it very quickly goes direct in October. So your time, as well as Libra's time, is completely changing the macrocosmic energy at hand. So knowing that, you as a person, Virgo, can kind of understand also that you might really be changing some of the people who are in your life too. You might really be catalyzing shifts or new understandings or new ideas in other people. And as you transition, I don't want you to feel like you need to take anything away from yourself or to remove anything. There is something within your energy to me that feels kind of severe. What do I mean by that? There's kind of a sink or swim thing coming up for you guys. Like you kind of feel like things are all or nothing, or you feel like you've got to make a change now, or you've got to, get something into effect or get something on a different momentum. And I don't think it has to be as quick as you think it does, but I don't think you need to close the door on it either. This is so much a matter of learning how to navigate in a solid, sober, and responsible way energetically. This isn't about going huge. This isn't about not going at all. This is about going where you're needed, okay? And being sober enough and clear enough to understand what that means, because it will be different for every Virgo. I will say also that you are really fixing a relationship karma this month, and I don't want you guys to forget about that. You might start to feel quite ambitious this month. You might start to feel very connected to purpose and motivation, but there is actually something about relationships coming up for you guys, and something within a previous relationship or a knot within a previous experience with another person that needs to be re-examined and finally let go of. And that's going to really connect with how you're representing yourself in your life. I've talked about how there's a bit of a triad right now. Who am I? Where am I? What do I represent? And that is what your energy is all about right now, Virgo. And it feels like by solving previous knots with previous people in your life, and that doesn't require being with them or speaking to them in all cases, but that starts to really clear it up. If you're not sure who you are, where you are, or what you represent, it feels like previous relationship knots will heal that up. And as you go through that, it does feel like you really start to make changes to your home environment, or you make changes to the way that you're moving around your space. And we've been talking about this type of thing all of this year. But you've got 4 of Swords, you've got 4 of Wands. 4 is the number of the home and of the interior space. So you're going to be celebrating that and resting or recovering in that in an emboldened way this month. Is there anything else I want to talk about for Virgos before we touch on the week to week? Watch out for gullibility. Okay, I will touch on that. 5 of Swords, the Devil, the Moon. Don't let anybody pull the wool over your eyes. Don't be too gullible to your own experiences. Understand that this is I don't want to say it's a complex time, but we have a very scientific and a very diagnostic, logistical way of coming to conclusions this month and for the rest of this year. It is not rocket science. It is, but it isn't. It's not a complex science. It's not that it's a hard type of like mathematical science that it takes to understand where we are, what we're doing, or the logistics of what we're doing. But it's not really coming to us magically, and nobody else can really give us the answers to things, I don't think, in your time. Your season, Virgo, is going to be all about the self being capable enough and clear enough and intelligent enough to solve its own problems and see clearly the entire scope of its own life. So understanding that, Virgo, you have to allow yourself the full scope, the full breadth of your own experience. Understanding what you need, understanding what you don't need, and with all of that in mind, being able to then almost being able to diagnose what the future looks like based on the science of where you are now. And it's kind of funny to talk about this type of thing in a spiritual content or in a reading, because of course we are touching into some of the more esoteric aspects of life, but you'd be surprised how scientific these things are, and how the best readers and the best psychics and the best empaths are the people who, of course, are in touch with the emotional unseen, but the people who are also methodical within that, and the people who understand the quantum physics and the sciences and the math as well to this. That is what creates the really the human superpower that is available to all of us to be able to consolidate our scientific capacity with our spiritual and emotive capacity. So lots of jargon, Virgo, I know, but this is sort of just to speak around what's happening inside of you right now. You might think it has to be one or the other. Like, I've got to be this like worldly, mundane person, or I've got to be this emotional, relationship-oriented person. I can't be both. You can be both. There's no need to pull yourself apart. And nothing, okay, so this is important. That's really set off a psychic sensor within me. Pulling yourself apart, okay? Pulling out different parts of your personality and examining it, separating certain parts of your personality from you. That's not what you need right now. You need to look at things holistically. You need to look at things from the full picture. You might have this one aspect of your personality that wants to do something very different, but you can't separate that from the entirety of who you are now. You never need to do that, because it's a deprivation consciousness that you work with when you're there. So what I mean, Virgo, for you this month, before we get into the week to week, is you've got to understand that love is a mixture of what you want, what you need, and the things that you want to grow in your life. This is what love is. It's kind of for you, those three things coming together. And knowing that there's a very clear way that you can find love in your life. I think that you guys want more love. You want more naturalism. You don't want things to feel so concocted or so deliberate. And this is funny because you're a very deliberate sign. You're a very action-oriented sign, but it's kind of like you're wanting things to just naturally fall into place a little bit better. And let's go into the week to week, and we'll look at ways that you can find your life in a more naturally benevolent way. Okay, so week number 1, Virgos, you have the world rooted down by the moon. So first week of September, you are going to be ending a story of how you see things or how things are communicated. The moon is about your scope or your perception or your lens, and the world is about the ending of a story. So you're gaining a new lens, you're gaining a new perspective, you're gaining a new maybe even a new sector of life, so a new career or a new view. So you're seeing something new, you're seeing something you've never seen before. Otherwise, you are preparing to see that, which I think is one of the most healing things in the world for any sign right now. And you're very blessed if you're in a place where you can see something brand new, or you can see a completely new avenue. Can't you just feel that, Virgos? Can't you just feel how benevolent and possible certain new things are? And it doesn't mean that you have to completely stop everything now, or you have to completely devote everything to these new ideas now, because again, we still have a lot of Capricorn, we're still very contextual, but just to feel the presence, the knowledge that a new situation is oncoming, and listening to your own gut instincts about that is going to really blast you off in the first week of September in a great way. And with that is going to come truth, okay? the world and the moon together, you might learn of a mistruth or a lie or a white, even like just like a white lie or something you might learn about. And that's only going to be to show you where you should be or where you need to make changes. So enjoy the honesty of this month, okay? Week number 2, you have the 4 of Swords rooted down by 4 of Wands. Great time to heal your relationship with your home, to heal your relationship with how you celebrate yourself, with how you make a ceremony out of certain transitions in your life. That's what I really like about that energy, is there's a ceremonious nature to the end that you're seeing. Okay, I really love that for you all, and that's very inspiring, actually. You know that something's over, or you know that a stage of your life or a phase of your life has ended, but you're not being depressed about that. You're not wallowing in that. You are adapting to the promise that offers you, the promise of a new phase, the promise of a new direction. Okay, really beautiful second week. Third week, Virgos, you have 5 of Swords rooted down by 10 of Cups. With this promise also comes a guarantee. Okay, there's a guarantee that as we move through, as we decide that we have new directions or we have new capabilities, there are people, 5 of Swords, who kind of like to exploit that sometimes. You know, when you're a very prosperous, benevolent person, there are people who latch onto that. You might notice that when you're around certain people, and these certain people might realize how successful you are, or they might just get a feeling that you have a lot of abundant energy, and the room may totally change, or the vibe may totally change. It's kind of like you're meeting strangers, or you're meeting people you've not met before, and they have a certain first impression of you, then they've known you for like 30 minutes, and they realize what you actually are, and it completely changes. There's a lack of permanence in how people are seeing you right now. And I don't feel that that's a great experience for you. There's something discouraging to you about how people's attitude to you changes, or how people don't ever stay the same, or there's no predictability in relationship dynamics. Also, the third week could show cracks in a relationship, or the conclusion to a long-running relationship that you know has been over for a long time. For some of you, it's not even about relationships. It's just about your high-flying, white picket fence goals for future relationships. You could see cracks in that. So yeah, redefining your love language, redefining your goals for the future when it comes to love and marriage and things like that. So just let the third week kind of redefine it for you. With every crack you see, there is now a new hope for a stronger foundation in the future. Week number 4, you have the Devil rooted down by 2 of Cups. So yeah, that's kind of like a crack in a relationship as well. So that is something that's coming up for you guys. I don't want you to worry too much about it, because now is really not about relationships. It's really not about going crazy with all these people or all these experiences or all of these. It's about the promise that you have, Virgo. As you conclude, as you finish a stage of your life, you have a promise of some certain new thing that only depends on you. So too much focus on a relationship is going to show cracks, period. This is more about you than it is about anybody else. I mean, it's your season. This is like your time of the year, especially in the beginning of the month. But fourth week, you want to really know what is nice to you, what is kind to you, what is honestly giving to you, and also what is an addiction, or what is an addictive cycle, or what is merely the honoring of a certain chemical system of the body. I've talked a lot about this over on Patreon in the T-chats. You guys should definitely go and sign up and listen to those T-chats, because we've talked all about body chemistry. We've talked about that relating to energy and relating to healing and becoming more strong. And yeah, relationships can become addictive just because of the pheromones, or the chemical connection between people. So there's something along those lines happening to you as well. And I would definitely recommend that you allow the promises of the future to compensate for instant gratification. This is a time where instant gratification can be very damning. Okay, Jupiter retrograde in Capricorn. It goes direct in September, but until it goes into Aquarius in near 2021. I believe it's actually December of 2020 that it moves into Aquarius. Until then, there's nothing very rewarding about any kind of instant gratification. We have to promise ourselves the future now. So really let yourself logistically understand what is a blessing for your future and what is just a momentary passing desire that does nothing for you and probably just gives you like a hiccup in the future. So that's a great perception that all Virgos have at every single moment in their lives. You guys know, like right off the bat, the impact or the context that something is going to serve in your life. You know it so instantaneously. Everybody does, but especially Virgo, because you're ruled by Mercury, so things really click for you. Very precise, communicative sign. So on that note, Virgo, this should actually come as a great reassurance to you that what is the future, what is the long-term, long-running possibility, that is where the magic is for you. And that promise, it's feeling more like a promise, does kind of introduce a sink or swim scenario, because you might know that you can get somewhere, or you might know that there is something coming on, but you should let yourself swim to it in a comfortable way instead of like sinking and needing someone else to come in and pull you up and take you over there. It's kind of like there is maybe a guarantee that you're going to get there, or that you're going to make some of these things happen, but prove to yourself your own strength now so that you don't have to build it too much when it's needed, okay? Great stuff coming up for your sign though, Virgo. I think your energy is magic. I hope I've explained this well. You're going to be doing really well. This is a crazy month for everybody, especially the last few months though. I mean, September is already getting better, but there's a lot to accept and a lot to just gratify through our own connection to the personalities that we've built and not the personalities so much as just the persona of who we are. That is really actually offering a lot to us now. But anyway, Virgo, thank you so much for being here. I hope you've enjoyed this general reading. Without further ado, I am going to put together an extended reading over on Patreon for those of you who would like to support the channel in that way. I do weekly tea chats over there. I do extended readings. I put the readings up early and ad-free, so it's a great value for what it is. And I will link that in the center of the screen as well as in the description box below, so you can jump over and get your extended really quickly. Thank you so much, Virgo, and happy birthday to those of you aging up this month. I will talk to you soon. Bye.